Good morning, everyone! Are you excited and ready to listen to our new discussion for today? If you're ready, take your seat properly and lend me your ears so that you can easily get our new discussion for this day. So, eyes on the board and keep quiet. So, our new lesson for today is all about paired sample t-test by hand. So, first, let me ask you, what is a paired t-test? Any idea about it? If there's none, please eyes on the board and read what is all about paired t-test or what is paired t-test. So, paired t-test is also called a correlated pairs t-test, a paired sample t-test, or dependent sample t-test, and it is where you run a test on dependent samples. So, let us have some examples. So, calculate paired t-test by hand. For example, looking on student score for midterm and final examination. So, we have here the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So, the null hypothesis is there is no significant difference in the midterm score and the final score of the students. Then, the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference in the midterm score and the final score of the students. So, now, we are going to do an example. So, we are going to calculate paired t-test by hand. So, given this, the student, the midterm score, and the final score. So, student 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then, student 1, midterm score is 15. The final score is 17. Student 2, 16 is the midterm score and the final score 16. Student 3, midterm score 17, final score 19. And student 4, midterm score 14, final score 17. Student 5, midterm score 13, final score 15. And student 6, the midterm score is 15 and the final score is 19. And student 7, the midterm score is 16 and the final score is 18. Student 8, the midterm score is 14 and the final score is 16. Student 9, the midterm score is 15, the final score is 13. And last, student 10, the midterm score is 12 and the final score is 17. So now, we are going to calculate paired t-test by hand following the steps. So now, here is the step 1. So, step 1, subtract each y score from each x score or x minus y. So, student 1, 15 minus 17 is equals to negative 2, 16 minus 16 is equals to 0, 17 minus 19, negative 2, 14 minus 17, negative 3, 13 minus 15, negative 2, 15 minus 19, negative 4, 16 minus 18, negative 2, 14 minus 16, negative 2, 15 minus 13, 2, and 12 minus 17 is negative 5. Next is the step 2. So, step 2, add up all of the values from step 1. So, add up all of the values here. So, negative 2 plus 0 plus negative 2 plus negative 3 plus negative 2 plus negative 4 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 plus 2 plus negative 5 is equals to negative 20. You can also add up all of these in your calculator if you have. Next is step 3. So, step 3. Square the difference from step 1. So, from step 1, we are going to square the difference here. So, it was here. So, square of negative 2 is 4. 0 is 0. The square of negative 2 is 4. Square of negative 3 is 9. The square of negative 2 is 4. The square of negative 4, 16. The square of negative 2 is 4. Square of negative 2 is 4. Square of 2 is 4. And the square of negative 5 is 25. So, next is the step 4. So, step 4. Add up all of the square differences from step 3. So, we are going to add all of these. So, 4 plus 0 plus 4 plus 9 plus 4 plus 16 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 25 is equals to 74. So, next is the step number 5. So, use the formula below to calculate t-score. So, this is the formula, and now we are going to calculate the t-score. So, t is equals to the sum of difference over n all over the square root of the sum of the square difference from step number 4 minus the sum of difference from step 2 squared divided by n all over n minus 1 times n. So, now we are going to calculate the given here. So, t is equals to the sum of difference is negative 20 divided by n is 10 because there are 10 students. Then, all over the square root of the sum of square difference from step 4 is 74 minus the sum of difference from step 2, which is negative 20 then squared divided by n all over n minus 1, which is n is equals to 10 times n. So, next is we are going to solve it using our scientific calculator so that we can easily get the t-score. So, negative 20 divided by 10 all over the square root of 74 minus 20 squared is 400 all over 10 divide 90. So, using your calculator, the answer is negative 3.25. So, this is the t. So, the t-score is negative 3.25. So, now, let's proceed to the next step. So, the next step is step 6. Subtract 1 from the sample to get the degrees of freedom. So, from the sample, our sample is 10. So, 10 minus 1 is equals to 9. So, this is the degrees of freedom. 9 is the degrees of freedom. Then, next step, the step 7. So, find the p-value in the t-table using the degrees of freedom in the step 6. So, get your t-table, and if you don't have a specified alpha level, use 0.05. So, in your t-table, look at in a two-tailed test, look at alpha level 0.05 with the degrees of freedom using the degrees of freedom 9. So that you can get the t-table value. So, you already find it? Okay, for this sample with degree of freedom is equal to 9, the t-value is 2.262. The same? Alright, then let's proceed to the step 8. So, step 8, compare your t-table value from step 7 to your calculated t-value. So, our calculated t-value is negative 3.25. Then, our t-table value is 2.262. So, our calculated t-value is greater than the t-table value. Don't mind the sign if it is negative or positive because we are getting the absolute value of our calculated t-score. So, compare your t-table from your calculated t-table. The calculated t-value is greater than the table value at an alpha level of 0.05. So, p-value is less than the alpha level. So, p is less than 0.05. So, we can reject the null hypothesis that there is no difference between the means. So, this is all about on how are we going to calculate paired t-test by hand or paired sample t-test by hand. So, do you understand our discussion for today? Wow, very good. So, for your assignment, you are going to do the same. You are going to calculate paired t-test by hand. So, that's all for today. Thank you and God bless.